I'm servicing this Rolex 3135 movement today. This is an automatic with a calendar. And in order to remove the movement from the case, obviously I first need to remove the winder. And this movement is held into the case with two case screws opposite each other. And to release the movement, you need to screw these inwards, as if you're tightening them up. This will allow you to turn the movement in the case, and you'll notice there's a couple of little grooves, one where the winder is, and the other opposite that. So if you line those up with the screws, you'll then be able to turn the watch out of the case. So naturally, the first step, once we've replaced the winder, is we can line the hands up and remove those. And I'm unscrewing the dial screws here. And there's two dial screws, and they're opposite each other. With the dial screws loosened, I can remove the dial. And I'm just going to put the dial and hands away in a safe place. And to remove the calendar ring, I need to turn that little screw halfway, and it will just slide out of place. Now there's a cover plate over the rest of the calendar work, which I need to remove first. And this is secured by 4 screws. This is the first one. And the other 3 screws around the edge. And with that, the cover plate moves away. So I'm removing the mechanism for the rapid calendar change. And so now I can remove the rest of the motion work and the calendar work. Caution with this particular wheel is underneath this plate you'll see a jewel. And this has to be carefully removed so as not to break it. Also note that the lever that this jewel is on is under extreme amount of tension. The spring pressing against it is very, very strong. So now I'm going to remove this lever. And I can remove the spring. and a calendar wheel. Now I'm removing the cannon pinion with my cannon pinion removing tool. With that done, I can remove the rotor, or oscillating weight, which is held in with the lever there. And so the automatic works can now come off, which is held down by 2 screws. Before removing the automatic work, just put a little bit of tension on the winding and it should just lift off. I continue by disassembling the automatic work, and the cover plate is held by 3 screws. And the 31-35 winds in both directions, so there's 2 reversing wheels. So now I'm just going to remove any power from the mainspring. Now I can remove the ratchet wheel. And now I'm sure that there's no power in the watch. I can remove the balance and the pallets. So I'm starting here by removing the balance, which is held down by 2 screws. To remove the balance, lift the cock slightly and turn the whole movement 45 degrees or 90 degrees, and it will just pull out. So now onto the pallets, which again is held down by 2 screws at the pallet cock. And now I'm removing the click spring. With the bridge disassembled, I can now remove the barrel bridge. And I can also remove the train wheel bridge, which is held in with 3 screws. And of course now I can remove the train wheels. And the barrel. So we have some further winding assembly here. And this bridge houses the crown wheel, or winding wheel, and also the balance hack. And this is the balance hack. So finally we have the minute pinion. This is held in place with a small bridge, as you can see, with 2 screws. So now finally I need to remove the keyless work. We have the setting lever spring, and finally the winding pinion and the clutch wheel along with the stem can be removed. And before cleaning the watch, I'm just going to replace the balance onto the movement. I do this by habit. It's a personal choice. I find that it's much safer if it's left in the movement when it goes through the cleaning machine. So the watch is stripped. And it's been through the cleaning machine, and here we are with all the parts nice and clean. So now it's time to put the watch back together. I'm going to start by removing the balance. And I'm going to wind the mainspring back into the barrel. I have a more detailed video on how to do this on my channel, if you look that one up. What I'm doing here is I'm applying a braking grease to the barrel walls, and this stops the mainspring from slipping too violently. And now the mainspring is back in the barrel. I need to install the barrel arbor. And I'm taking care to make sure that the hook is located into the notch in the end of the mainspring. So on with the barrel cover. And the barrel cover just snaps back in place. I'm using 2 pairs of tweezers here. I'm just using a little bit of Rodico to make sure that there's no dust in between the teeth. So we have the minute pinion, and it's useful to lubricate the minute pinion before replacing it. And I'm replacing the balance hack, which is being a little fiddly.